Right guys, join us at the All-In. We're on the third round of the Ship Lake short pole series. We've done it again. We're drawing an absolute flyer in peg number 1. So we had 3 good pegs so far in this round, in this series. I'm just putting in my skimmer line. 12 o'clock, maximum length. Just putting in 1 big ball of ground bait. I might put 2 big balls of ground bait in actually, but the first one had some micros in. The second one's just going to be, not big balls, just 100 balls. The second one's going to just be a neat ball. It looks like that ball broke up on the way down, which is nice. Nice area we're creating. Yeah, so that's just where I might want to fish. And I've already loaded up my pot with some micros in. My first putting down the edge. So this edge down to me right, which is like the end of the lake. I never fished this peg before, so I had a good plumb around at the start, and I found that this right hand edge is very steep. And so if I wanted to fish in the deep water, it's easy. But if you want to fish in anything that's less than full depth, you've got to fish on a slope. So I've decided to start by fishing on the slope. Very steep slope, it's not something I do a lot, but I'm going to give it a go. I'm just going to feed the bait. I've not gone full length for the pole, so I can chase fish down this edge if I need to. I'm going to feed the bait ever so slightly to the right of where I think that's it. It's coming out ever so slightly to the right. And then I'm going to lay the rig in and just let it come in and swing in onto the bank, swinging onto the slope. So I'll be fishing down the slope a bit, but then pellets will run down that slope. I can see that a lot of them are already under the float and further down. So that's what we do. We've got a big 4mm pellet on. This is first put in. I thought I'll just film first put in, and if we don't catch anything, I'll turn you back on later when, or if something happens. I'm expected to win off this peg today because it's a flyer of a peg, so everyone's expecting me to win. But I'm trying not to put too much pressure on myself. I feel like it's not constructive. So I've sort of come like a quarter of the way up the slope and fishing on the slope, so my bait's my rig's lying against the float, against the slope, and my floats. My line's all out of the way, and then if a fish comes in and sees the hook bait, it's just like one bait. Just suck it straight off the slope. I've done that because I feel like early signs. Oh, there's a liner there. That was a liner, I don't know. No, it was a liner for shallow fish, I think. It's just spooked out the swim. So, and he seemed like he was quite a lot shallower. So, the reason I've gone for this is because I feel like the fish don't want to be deep today. But if I want to fish here on this spot, in the deeper water, in the shallow water, it's really, really shallow, tight under where the pole tip is. So I really didn't want to go that shallow there. You sort of, 8-10 inches deep. I want to be in sort of a bit deeper. But what I've also done is I've also done another rig. So this rig's about 2 and a bit foot. I've got another one that's about 18 inches. And that carp there, that's an early sign that maybe the fish, he was definitely shallower than what I was fishing. He'd come in probably to the centre of the bait, but not necessarily come down to eat it. It's what we can do. We can just sit it out on this line for a couple of puts, and if it's not right, we can come up the slope. We get a lot of that. But I feel like one fish and one indication is not enough for me to make that change yet, because it is first putting, and that fish could have just been sitting in that shallow, could have just been sitting there all along. I'm looking to try and catch some carp in the early part of the match, and then hopefully catch some skimmers and drop back on the carp again. But it might be that I end up sitting on carp all the time, or I end up sitting on skimmers all the time. It all depends on what I can work out and what the fish want me to do. As I've mentioned before, if it's the first time you've seen this league, I'm actually fishing a Silvers League and a Carp League at the same time. And lots of fish shallow here. So this is the same line. Another line of that is. So it's the same fish in the same match, but my silver's weight and my carp weight go into 2 separate pots. And fish down there now. My silver's weight and my carp weight go into two separate leagues. At the moment, I'm joint top and I'm second in both leagues, but joint on points. But I'm second by weight after 2 rounds. So it might be today's the day I've got to make my mind up which one I'm going for if I can't catch both. Or if I can catch a decent weight of both, I might be able to keep myself in contention for both leagues. I don't know. On our update, and all that really seems to be happening is we just seem to be not going to put any more feed this time. So went down to that right hand side, couldn't really hook anything. Coming to the really shallow water where I thought the fish were coming in and still couldn't get anything. So what I'm doing is every now and again I'm just putting a little bit of baiting on it. I've gone out on the skimmer line. I've gone out over the ground bait that I'll put on the skimmer line and gone over it with pellets. On my sort of slow falling, less sensitive rig if you like. But more sort of better presentation, sort of lighter falling through the water rig and nothing. So I've gone out on top of that with my pellet rig, which is more direct, more sensitive, and I've also had nothing with pellets on. It's weird, but I could see that there was fish there, so I've gone back on with my sort of slow falling through the water rig, and put double maggot on. Even though I've not actually fed any maggot, all I've fed is 2 border ground baits and a nice pinch of micros. And lo and behold, I've had 4 skimmers now. Just put my 4th skimmer in the net after an hour. So an hour in, we've got 4 skimmers, which I think is doing well in the section for silvers. I don't think anyone's caught a carp in the section yet. There are carp, I can see them just past the poultry there. I don't know if they're showing on there. And they're all very shallow. They do that here, they sort of mooch about shallow. I'm kind of tempted to put a really shallow rig on and just flick it around with a maggot on. Just sort of try and swing it about the areas where the carp are showing and see if they'll have it. But feels a bit hit and miss for my liking. So just top this line up with another little tiny nugget of ground bait because I couldn't get a bite. I pulled out again. I pulled out of a couple of skimmers because I've probably got too heavy an elastic. Oh, there we are. That's the problem there. Gone doubled up over the up point. Got quite a decent hook on, and decent is elastic because might catch carp. All I've done really is just topped it up with a little nugget through the pole pot, through his little pole pot, and a few micros, and lo and behold, I've just had a couple of bites on it quite quickly. So obviously, being able to top up with small balls is something that I can do today. Which is good, because what I want to really do, if I can, is I want to switch between this line and the edge lines and try and catch some carp. So I want to suss this line so I can drop on it, catch a couple of nice skimmers. Sadly, you would have seen one there, but I've missed. He's come off because of that up point fold. The idea would be nice to be catch a couple of skimmers, come off it, go down either of the edges, catch carp maybe, and go back out and catch a few more skimmers, then catch a carp and just let the lines tick over. So I'm trying to work towards at the moment. But I might find that I have to stick on the carp or something, depending on what else is happening in the section, or I might find the carp line up or the skimmers line up or something. I'm just sort of playing it by ear. I can only fish 3 sections, so I can't do anything rash just yet. We're only an hour in, a 6-hour match. I'm thinking about whether I could go to the right and put another line in, just put maggots on it, but I'm also thinking perhaps once this line starts to show signs of fading, maybe maggots could revive it if I start putting some maggot in it. Don't know. There's lots of ifs, buts and maybes at the moment. Not a lot of certainty of anything. Carp shallow just by the side of the float there, just caused me a liner. Definitely something to think about is trying to catch carp, swinging a rig around. I might just put some more bait in as I feel like I've got to put some more bait in after every couple of fish. There's 2 fish I've got over this line now. You know, a little nugget of ground bait. Pinch your pellets and just keep doing that for a bit. I'm going to switch off because I feel like I've got to save some battery for later. But I thought I'd give you 1 hour update. 4 skimmers. I've actually lost 2 now. I am fishing on quite a heavy elastic, so if I lose any more I might just swap. I've got some top kits next to me, I might just swap the rig over. See if I can catch something light, you know. See if I can catch on a lighter elastic, so I should still be alright with the elastic, but you know, the green elastic instead of the white. Just thought I'd be a bit more positive today. So when I switch you off, save battery, catch you in a bit. Right guys, literally switched you off down the edge of this old unit. Didn't think they were any this big. He's like 8 or 9 pound. Maybe a bit bigger than that. Just putting a bit of heat off. It's very lovely because I've sort of tripped him into the net, this one. He's so hot. You'll have to get out of it. There he goes. Munter. Right then, not sure if he's moved my rig. Yeah, that's a really short lash. Just going to go out and replumb that before I do anything else. So what happened was, I said to you I was going to try down the edges, didn't I? So I went out, put a ball of ground bait over the. Couldn't get another bite over that. Over the skimmer line, so I decided I'm going to put another ball on. So I'll put another ball. That's alright there. So, where was I? Yes, I thought I'll put another ball in. So I put another ball in, went down to the line on my left. I've been putting micros in every now and again for a pot, nothing. So I thought I'll go down to this line on my right. I'll put maggot on, so I'm getting bites on maggot. So I've gone in with triple maggot on. This rig is much more. This is set for carp, this rig, so everything's a bit stronger. So I thought, I'll put triple maggot on if you've got doing that, and I'll put a little bit of my ground bait in. And I'll just try that, see if I can get, because my thinking was, I'm putting bait in, and I'm getting visits, but it's like 1 fish, 2 fish, and because I'm putting micros in, they've got too much bait to choose from, so put ground bait in. They've got, the only hook bait they've got to pick out is mine. I'm just putting a little tiny bit of ground bait and just trying to draw 1 fish in, and then just sitting there with 3 maggots in amongst it. It's definitely a little bit. It's definitely moved that float as. I might just come up the slope a little bit more. Just shallow little rig. So I missed a couple of bites, and it was my second feed. Went in and fed it again. And they had that one, but then if you're getting them big fish like that come into your swim, you'll get line bites that are really positive, and you'll think you're missing bites anyway, but they're just liners, because when the fish hit the line, it rockets under like a normal bite anyway. And fishing bulk down quite positive, so there you are, another rapid indication there, but it's not come to anything. Again, it'll just be a liner, or it could be silverfish pulking at the maggot as well. You don't need many of them today. Get a good weight. There's a little pluck on that there. It's almost certainly, yeah, that felt like a little silverfish. No maggots left on. Oh, hardly any maggots left on, so it plumbed up alright, but I'm just going to move that float down a little tiny bit. I know that it weren't like it. I know how much lash I had versus how much if this works here, what I might do is swing around to my left and see if I can find the same depth, and just have two lines doing this, because it's early in the day and it's not going to be solid, but I'll just keep trying to pick fish off, and I'm not going to feed again just yet. Definitely silverfish that was, but I'm happy to catch silverfish, but the elastic's really tight on this rig. It's like a pingy one that I've shortened the elastic on it a couple of times. It's pingy now, so I just use it for catching lumps down the edge. It's getting towards the end of its useful life, if you know what I mean. Might just be that I've got to let it rest every now and again, and I'm not going to get carp coming in all the time. Just got to keep working through these little bits and bobs. Carp. Not when a carp comes in, it's on. So now I've got something working now. So I spoke earlier about having a line down the edge to catch carp and a line down the middle to catch silvers on, and that's what we've got, so we can rest them. Nice little carp. It's very wild, this one. He's in. Like it in a 3 or 4 pound, this one. That's a 4 for him. He is a live wire. Don't want to get the disgorger out and stop struggling. He's probably not quite full. I'll click 4 anyway, because I think that I clicked 8 on that last fish, and I think he's probably bigger than that anyway, so there we are. Let's see if we can get another one. Over 2 hours in, 2 hours 15 in. I've had a nice little run of skimmers over my skimmer line, and it's just slowed down. So I've gone back down to that ground bait line down the edge, ground bait and maggot line, first put in. This absolute hippo of a common. Starting to wish I put my big net on, put my little net on, because I didn't think I need a big net. I wish I had put my big net on, because that's too. There's an 8 munters down from down there. That's another near double fish, that. Gotta be a double. This is it. I'll give myself a line for him. I was not expecting thin the fish to be that big from down that edge. Just the same old trick again. Tapping the ground bait in, down the edge. Three maggots on the hook. I walked in. Guys, you join me. It's just gone 2 o'clock, so we're like 4 hours into the match. And I've just hooked my first carp out in the open really. So I was fishing on the pellet line. Got a single maggot on the size 20 hook on this rig. And I've just swung the rig past, thinking I wonder if there's anything past. I had a nice skimmer. I thought I'll try it again. And I've had a carp. So I've hooked this carp. Luckily he's not one of the absolute monsters, so I'll probably get him out. But on that size 20 hook we didn't want to get to the big ones anyway. I suspect the big ones being the edge. The guy to my left, he's had a few fish. He's had a few fish in the open water, and he's had all small ones, so maybe the ones down the edge are better fish. So I'll call him a 3. Okay, so what I'm going to do, he's straightened that hook out, so we'll have to put a fresh hook on. First of all, we'll chop up this line. I'll ball a ground bait on it. Pinch of micros on it. And then we'll go. What I might do is just fish past. I might feed it and just fish past it for a while. Just have him. And just see if that's a thing. And also have a look to see if we've got an SFL that's small enough. I've got some SFLs there. There we are. So what I'll do is I'll put an SFL on now instead. So I was on an F1. I'm on a Guru F1. What we'll do now is, because he's been straightened out, we'll put a 20 SFL on. It's still a really small hook, but it's just a little bit stronger. And I'll put a shot on the hook. So, let's talk about this rig. I started down a different rig on that line. More of a strung out, little sort of falling through the water maggoty rig. And I set this rig up for fishing with pellet. I tried it with the pellet and I couldn't get a bite, so I didn't bother. I had a couple of bites on the maggot rig, but the bites were really tentative. And this rig, when I've got it set up like I have today, I have a number 10 stot. Because the sort of stotty type weights don't damage the up length so much. I have it on the up length. And I have a much finer tipped hook. And the finer tip on the hook means that any sort of movement of that number 8 shot on the that number 10 shot on the float shoots under really positively. And I've literally, when I switched to this rig, it transformed my catch rate today. So there's definitely, with that sort of more airy fairy falling through the water rig, which sometimes gets you more bites, what was happening today was I wasn't seeing the bites because the fish, for whatever reason, aren't moving that much. So oddly, even though I've not even fed any maggot, I'm just going to put some bait in on this edge line, which is what I've been doing in between every now and again, every 2 or 3 fish or so, or every time I feel like it. I'm just going to swim past, just try one put past and then we'll go on it. Yeah, so what was I saying? Yeah, so normally I don't put maggot on this, but because the only thing I could get a bite on was a maggot, I tried a maggot on this, which obviously you're not getting any of the falling through the water benefits that you get with the other rig, which you kind of expect to need with maggot, but in this instance, hasn't been the case. There's a carp just porpoise next to the pole tip, and there's just a few signs that maybe things are starting to happen now as we come into the last couple of hours. And there we are. What's that? That's a skin bob. A skin bob or a carp's? It might be a carp. This might be why I can't get any bites of skimmers on my line, because it's just solid carp. It's a carp that is all day long, and it's a small one, I think. A small carp, I think. Be a little bit careful. So like I say, I've put that hook up to near 20, so he woke up there. I feel like it's a crazy big fish. Feels like it's a wampy little wild thing. Careful, because the line's not super strong. The other rig got 013 on. 013 power lines like 015 in most other lines. It's really thick, so whereas this is 010 this little length, I think. So, you know, probably like 011 in most other lines. Something like that. I'd love it if it was a 10, but I don't think it is. It's nice. Nicer than I thought it was. Oh, he just jabbed me with his dorsal thing. He's also straightened the hook out as well. Right then. What are we going to do? Bending the hook back. We'll quickly see if there's a skimmer on that line now. And if not, go down and have a look at this line, because there's definitely signs that carp are starting to have a little munch. Oh, Nixley's got one on as well. Things are starting to hot up. I've got to make my mind up that I'm going to finish this match. I'm going to turn you off so that I can update you as we get towards the end of the match. So there we go. We were going really, really well here. We've got the carp line producing down that right hand edge, not as fast as I expected it to be, but actually the lake wasn't fishing quite as well as I expected it to. And the silvers line was going probably better than I expected to, because I know it can be hard on this lake to catch silvers, and so I was lucky to have some in my swim. And I was switching between the two and things were going well. But then as we moved into the last hour and a half, I started to struggle for bites and struggle to put fish in the net. I've come down to my left hand edge, where I haven't really caught, not where I haven't really caught, but where I haven't really fished very much throughout the day, thinking that's a quiet area. I've put some bait in there and just kept, left it, gone over it, just nothing there really. I think I had one small fish over it. So I've gone back to my other two lines and just tried to, keep them going and just try to make something happen. But in the end, it's just got harder and harder and harder in the last hour and a half. And I started to worry that perhaps some of the other anglers in my section might catch me up and overtake me. As it turned out, two anglers did catch me up and overtake me. One beat me on silvers and one beat me on carp. So I ended up second in carp and second in silvers. But fortunately for me, those two anglers were not in my section. They were at the other end of the lake. So the guys at my end of the lake continued to struggle because it fished quite hard. So I've come out with a perfect result of first in section for the carp and for the silvers. So now it puts me into a really good position, because moving into the last round, I'm 2 points clear for the carp, and I'm joint first on points, but second on weight for the silvers. So me and Steve Smith on the silvers, we're 4 points clear of the rest of the field, which, when the maximum that you can score is 5, that puts us in a really strong position for one of us or both of us to be finishing in the top 2. and then on the carp I've got myself a 2-point buffer on the final day. So join me for the next and final round, see how we get on.